Okay, good morning everybody. Yeah, another morning in Warsaw. Second morning. I'm just gonna do a quick tour of the apartment that I'm staying in. Well, the Airbnb, it is an apartment, and then probably will shoot a little bit at least around the area that I am in, because I am gonna go to the rest of Warsaw today, and then film that. So anyways, here's the apartment. This is the room that I am staying in. It is the first room in the place. It is about the size of a normal bedroom, and it is fairly recently redone. And it looks like it's all out of IKEA. This is a little kitchenette area. Ooh, I did not zoom in right. A little kitchenette area. Leads to the bathroom. And then the second room, because it's 2 rooms, not 2 bedrooms. There's a difference. Yeah, it's just this area. And then this is the balcony. And yes, this has a little balcony. And yeah, those are the other apartment buildings. The next complex over. That building over there, which I think is a hotel, and if I can zoom in correctly, more buildings over there in the rest of Warsaw. And over there, that is where the tram, or streetcar, or whatever the hell they call it, comes in. I can kind of hear one coming. Maybe? Yeah, there it is. They basically go... There's 3 lines that run by here that go, God, a bunch of different places within the rest of the city, so we'll be using that later on today, and there goes a bus. So thank you for watching the last clip. Now, since it was kind of a short video, and I actually realized this wall, then I'm going to do some of my first impressions of Warsaw, of Poland generally, even though I've really only went out today beyond the immediate block that I'm in, or immediate, yeah, block is technically a block, I guess, that I'm in. Some of my first reactions. It does kind of feel like being in Oklahoma again, at least weather-wise. It's very wet relative to California or the West Coast. Wet, almost like it almost feels like being in Oklahoma, where it's that kind of damp wet, where it could just rain at any moment. And actually, most days it's been cloudy. Right now is the clearest it's been since I've been here. So that's something that I really noticed. And also another thing that kind of reinforces that is that a lot of the western part of the city that I've seen, especially near the airport, is relatively new. As I was even asking the Uber driver, that the highway that we were driving on was actually finished 3 years ago. It's that new. And there's also, I don't think I can see it from the window. Well, actually, you can a little bit. There's cranes off in the distance. That's actually not an uncommon thing to see here, is cranes and stuff being under construction. And I didn't get a good view of this while I was riding the streetcars around, but there are a lot of high-rise office buildings going up, or not a lot, but a bunch going up around Warsaw. A lot of stuff is being rebuilt. That has to do with, I guess, the communists neglecting stuff and not taking care of anything. And also, interestingly about the tram system is that actually the map did change literally the day I got here. So the one I had downloaded onto my phone is not the current one, and I actually had to download a new one, or turn the data on just for to quickly re-download a new version of the map, because the system actually did change slightly. A few other lines are actually closed for reconstruction right now. And one of the areas that I'm planning on going to, which is a mall, the tram line or streetcar lines don't go all the way to the end of the line where they normally go to because of construction. And when I went down that area today, and yeah, there is a lot of construction going on, at least past where the line currently stops. So yeah, that construction surprised me. The train system is something that the streetcar system is something that's also very interesting. It is really, really convenient. Being able to get around, it's relatively quick. It's not that expensive. I paid $12 for a 3-day pass, or give or take $12. It's probably closer to 10 based on the conversion rate. But yeah, it was fairly cheap. It's very convenient. The every stop is announced. Even on some of them, there's even a little display TV, I guess, telling you each stop and how many minutes it is away approximately from where you are now. Also, it's nice here, the next stop is and wherever it's stopping, although it's all in Polish and there's no English really on them. It's because I'm assuming that obviously the streetcar system was never designed for tourists. It was only designed for locals. The metro system, on the other hand, it does have some English on it. The stations are announced in Polish and then in English. I guess that's just how it is. Even though I don't know. It's just weird to hear the Polish announcement, the next announcement in English, even though it's almost the same thing. So yeah, there's that. Other things, people don't entirely realize that I'm not Polish. And I know some people are going to go, well, that's because you're white or whatever, but I mean, even being in the UK and seeing what more British people than like one or two, I mean, British people and Polish people are somewhat distinct from each other. I mean, yeah, there is some overlap, but Polish people are a little bit more distinct than, let's say, English people. I don't know about Germans yet or anyone else because I've never been to those parts of Europe, but yeah, the Slavs do have a somewhat more distinct look. And I guess I do dress, and I do normally dress enough like someone who lives here to not be totally fingered as an American. And although I feel a little bit rude telling them that I don't speak Polish, I do say it in Polish so they know they don't. I don't know, gets mad at me, I guess. I feel rude saying it, but even though they don't seem, the two people I actually had to say that to today weren't too bothered by it. Even the guy at Starbucks was not too bothered when I almost answered in Spanish instead of Polish, which has actually been kind of an interesting thing for me, is that whenever I'm thinking of words, my first impulse is to go for Spanish for some reason. I guess that's because it's the only other language I know, or these are semi, proficient in it. Is Spanish, so yeah, sometimes it's confusing wanting to say gracias instead of dziękuję, or sí instead of talk, or saying no entiendo instead of nie mówicie po polsku. It gets confusing, and man, there actually a bird just flew by. That kind of distracted me, but yeah, it's first impressions. It is fun. I do wish someone else was here. It would make it a little less intimidating going out, because it is kind of intimidating to go out where you don't speak the language, especially considering the neighborhood I'm in isn't exactly a tourist destination. It is the last neighborhood before the suburbs. And so yeah, it's kind of daunting. I mean, it was a little less nerve-wracking walking around in like the inner parts of the city, and I did go to this one neighborhood called Mokotowski. It is from what I understand, I think that's where most of the embassies are here, so there are more foreigners there. I mean, hell, even to the point where I've actually saw black people walking around. I mean, that's, like in this neighborhood, I've only seen one person who wasn't white, or at least not Polish. One, whereas in that mall alone, I saw at least 10 people who I can immediately tell weren't Polish. I'm saying that meaning I can tell. You can kind of tell because mostly it's linguistic. Hearing them talk, I can immediately tell that, yeah, those people I'm around are Polish. There is a small hotel, but I don't believe any of them are foreigners. It might be more of a domestic one or whatnot. I don't know. But it has been interesting just going out one day and walking around and seeing things. And I am actually looking to explore more tomorrow. I actually am getting the phone activated tomorrow because I actually did go to the mall to get it activated and then realized I didn't bring it. I kind of do need the phone because I don't know. I went into this assuming no one I would run into would speak English. I mean, how do I put this? Dealing with French people, like working in a restaurant, and sometimes them getting offended that you don't speak any amount of French, I kind of assumed most Europeans would have that mentality of, oh, you don't speak my language, oh, blah, 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 I'm snooty and all mad at you now. Whereas Poles don't seem to be that annoyed by it, especially, at least if you say it in Polish that you don't speak Polish, they don't seem too annoyed, so I guess that's just a different mentality in life. I think they're just more okay with it. Whereas, other Europeans aren't. A little bit intimidating. Tram system's nice. I wish we had those more like that in the US. So yeah. thank you for watching. See you later.